All right, we're live with Melanie. We're going to have our
Awesome.
first interview about money in astrology. So I'm going to share my screen and we will get started. Okay, Melanie, when is your birthday?
July 9, 88,
Okay, and time
10:10 a.m.
and place.
Whittier, California. WHIT as in Tom, T as in Tom. IER.
10 degrees Virgo rising. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So just before we start, for those of you watching, I've never spoken with Melanie before. I don't know anything about her chart. Okay, so our conversation is going to be very just starting from nowhere. We're going to see what we learn about money. Okay, so Melanie, yeah, let's just start with, how do you earn money? Where does money come to you from currently?
Right now, I have a bookkeeping business.
Bookkeeping means like accounting, right?
Yes.
Okay, and who do you do accounting for?
Small business owners
Small business owners, like in the US or
in the U.S. They're based in the U.S. Yes.
in the USA? Okay, all of your clients.
Correct.
Okay, and how many clients do you have?
I have 5.
5 clients, 5 small businesses.
It's
Okay, and so you do bookkeeping for them. You're doing their business taxes all year round.
not their taxes, so just their financial records, and then I pass them off to the tax accountants.
Uh-huh. Okay, so you're just keeping track of how much they spend and how much they earn, and like what is their financial situation essentially.
Yes. Simply put, yeah.
Got it. Okay. And would you mind sharing? So how much do you earn on average per year?
That fluctuates, but uh, so last year was about 100,000, or not. Sorry, 2024, because 2025 is still being calculated.
Uh-huh. And 2025, how much do you expect around, do you know?
Maybe around the same.
Around the same, around 100,000. Okay, so that's 100,000 for the year.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So one of your main ways of earning is through the actual business. Do you get money from anyone else? Is there anyone else that gives you money?
A
Any
second
other
stream of
forms of
income is
income?
coaching. I've got a dating coaching business.
Okay, dating coaching business. Uh-huh. And that's also active.
It's active now.
So you're just starting with that.
I am just relaunching with it. Yes.
Okay, very interesting. So is that earning already anything?
I think I'm at like $1,000.
Okay, not bad. Okay, so now we're at 101 for the year.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And do you get anything from like your parents, or do you have any investments, or
No, not yet.
okay, or any assets that you've purchased, like land? Yeah, like what makes up the total of your net worth?
That would be, I think maybe I have like 50,000 in like retirement.
50,000 in retirement. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So we have a little bit about your income. And can you just explain a bit about the bookkeeping? What do you actually do? What does that look like?
So what is the simplest way to say that? I just keep track of money that comes in and then expenses that go out. I will try my best to maximize deductions for them. So we can reallocate certain expenses depending on what information the client gives me. Yeah. So every month also their bank accounts on their books tied to the bank statements. So, and then also depending on how detailed clients want me to be, I will ask them kind of just keep an eye on their expenses to see if it makes sense. Or if there are charges that they don't know that that are not theirs. There are certain clients that are like luxury clients where I'm like, are you sure you went to McDonald's? So things like that.
Uh-huh. So you're also kind of like a watchdog.
Yeah. If it
Uh-huh.
makes sense, if it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Okay. And you're working with a lot of numbers, and obviously those numbers have to be perfect. Like you can't really afford to make mistakes on that.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Okay. See that
But
I always end up
the funny
somehow.
thing is, the funny thing is also like accounting is like the numbers are placeholders. So the person interpreting them can give them value in a certain light or perspective.
Oh, interesting. So you as the accountant you have some kind of creative freedom in how you keep the books, is that right?
Yeah. So it also depends on your tax accountant how creative they also want to be.
Uh-huh. In terms of like how they represent the expenditures. Okay, I see. Which is how you can cook books. Is that right?
So yes, in the term of it. But there are also countries specifically that have two sets of books, and it's like a welcomed practice.
Does that come naturally to you? The numbers work? Do you love it?
I do enjoy it, yes.
Okay. So the first thing that comes up to me, we always somehow end up veering, but that's okay. We'll get right back on track. It's Mercury in your 10th opposite Saturn in your 4th. And there's a few reasons for that. First of all, actually, I'm just going to remove the other planets to make that really simple. When it's Mercury, Mercury is the one to crunch numbers and to, look at the bank statements and read what's on them and then copy the information and work with the different softwares and, transfer numbers and make phone calls, right? That's all Mercury. And Mercury in your case is opposing Saturn. And Saturn is very orderly, right? Saturn demands perfection.
Mm-hmm.
There's not that much creativity because you have to follow the rules. So there for me is your accounting, your bookkeeping. Moreover, just notice like Saturn and Sagittarius in your 4th house, right? We learned that you're bookkeeping for people in the US, which is where you're from, the 4th house, but actually you're living abroad, right?
Yeah.
Because right now, for example, you're in Saigon, before that you were in the Philippines. So that makes me think maybe there's some complications also with that when you're abroad and you're doing business in the US. I don't know. Does that make sense to you so far?
Yes. The only complication would be like if a client really needs to jump on the phone with me, because there's about a 14-hour time difference with certain clients.
Okay, got it. So you're not as easy to reach.
Not always.
Okay. So do you also see that in the Mercury Saturn opposition?
Um,
You live in different place that is far away from your clients, right? That's Saturn and Sag in the fourth. And it's opposing Mercury in your 10th because the business calls that you would have to hop on sometimes can't happen because you're such different time zones. Right. So there's the opposition. Not being able
yeah,
to make the phone call because of you living far away and being in a different time zone. Does that make sense?
that makes sense.
Okay, very good. And there's many more actually, but we don't need to get into that, right? Because we are talking about money. So you get about 100K a year. How do you spend that money? What is valuable for you? What do you like to have?
The biggest one is travel.
Okay. So you travel a lot.
Yes.
Okay. And do you travel like, first class, or do you travel cheap? Where do you travel? What do you do when you travel?
Mid. Probably, yeah, mid to like boutique places.
To what, sorry?
Boutique hotels, more boutique hotels. So I'll travel, I'll buy a seat on like an economy plane or an economy seat. But the accommodations that I have are probably what will take my money.
Uh-huh. Okay. Um, so boutique hotel is like better than an average hotel. It's more like a hotel with like a creative hotel, right?
Yeah, it's usually they're smaller. They're like more of like a local cultural feel. If I don't do a boutique hotel, then it's definitely a 5-star.
Then it's definitely a 5-star. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, not luxury travels, but pretty nice stays. You like to be comfortable wherever you're going.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you
I'm
give
not
an
one of those. I'm not one of those like, oh, we're just in the hotel room to sleep. Like I want to sleep really well.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's a few things coming up already about your expenditures. So do you travel often? How often would you say you travel?
Um, Fairly often, maybe like half the year.
Half the year you're traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, mommy. Nice. So that means that half the year you're staying in accommodation.
Mm-hmm.
So half the year you're paying for hotel rooms.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite some. Okay. So, and all right, check this out. The first thing I want to point out to you is your sun. Your sun is in the 11th house in Cancer. And when it's the 11th house is public places, like a government building or a hospital or a hotel. Yeah, being out in the city. And in your case, the sun is in Cancer in the 11th house, right? And Cancer is about housing. Okay. So there you are, half the year traveling and staying and making home in these different hotels, even now, right? You don't have a permanent home. You're looking for a place to have roots. By the way, if you notice where Jupiter is at the moment, right? Jupiter is at 16 degrees of Cancer, conjoining your sun.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now you're traveling and staying in different places and looking, to your point, you said in the beginning, you're looking for a new home where you're
Yeah.
going to set roots. Does that all make sense now?
Yeah.
Did you say yeah?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. The other part, of course, for me is first of all, Saturn in your fourth house in Sag, right? That you're constantly traveling. I guess that has some constraints of its own, right? You don't have a place to stay that is just yours. It's hotels and moving around. And the other part for me is the Moon Jupiter conjunction in Taurus in the ninth, right? Because you're going to faraway places, but what you especially spend on is the actual comfort, right? To be in a very nice hotel. So there's the Moon Jupiter Taurus. Okay, so do all those pieces make sense together?
Yes.
Okay, very good. What else would you say your expenditures are like, or how else does money circulate in your life? If you just think about money and how you spend and what you spend on.
I've also spent a lot on development for myself. So whether that be like therapy, some like certifications, classes, workshops.
Hmm. All right, so that is obviously the Moon Jupiter ninth house, yeah?
Yeah.
That you love studying.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, so you spend also a lot on development.
Mm-hmm.
What was the last course that you took?
The last course that I took, I can tell you the one that I was just looking at.
Okay.
It's a teaching English certificate.
Uh-huh. And what's the idea there? Is it for another income?
It's for another income, but also to basically apply for a work visa here in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
The long-term goal for that is to be a non-resident of the US. So I don't have to pay US tax rates.
Uh-huh. A non-resident. Okay. And do you think you're going to follow through with the teaching English certificate?
Yes.
Okay.
So a little bit of background is I was in Southeast Asia probably about a little bit over 10 years ago. And I was in Taiwan at that time. Really fell in love with the country. I was there for about 3 weeks. And being a TESOL teacher would have enabled me to stay in Taiwan, have an income, but it was a little bit too difficult to find like a certificate, find schools. It was a little bit too difficult for me to like figure it out on my own. So I'm here not really looking for an opportunity for it, but I've met a few people that have, within the first like 2 weeks of me being here in Saigon, it's been super simple. I've probably met like really grounded people that are locals. So one of them just asked like, "Oh, do you want to teach English here? Because then you could apply for your work permit, have a TRC, a temporary resident card, and then open up like a Vietnamese bank account, all these things." And so I told her, I was like, I can't do like a full-time teaching job. She's like, no, you can do part-time. It's like 40 hours a month.
Uh-huh. Okay. That's actually making me think about your progression. How old are you now? You're soon to be 40, right?
Yeah, I'm about 2 years away from 40.
Um, okay, I want to show you the progressions just because it's coming up, even though maybe it's not relevant to money. But well, okay, what I want to point out to you is that you can see that your progressed sun is at 23 Leo, right? Applying trine to your natal Saturn at 27 Sag. Okay, so
Okay.
that makes me think about you moving to a foreign country, and now you're working on establishing yourself there, and not only, but becoming a teacher and becoming a non-resident of the US. And so I see how the sun is getting closer and closer to a trine to your natal Saturn in the fourth Sag, because now you're in the process of actually distancing yourself from the US officially. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, and again, Jupiter to your sun in Cancer in the 11th, that suddenly there's like this tremendous ease, especially with the locals that are inviting you and giving you opportunities to do things there directly. All right, so I see how this is coming together in terms of like what you're doing now. What does that mean for you financially, for example? Did you hear me?
Oh, sorry. What did you ask me?
How does this affect you financially, for example? Like this whole move, where are you at with your finances nowadays?
Right now, I am. There are a few settlements that are owed to me. So I'm hoping within like the next year that those actually get paid out. Um, where the numbers could be anywhere from like 15,000 to like another 50K.
So you're waiting for somewhere between $15,000 and $50,000
15 and 75.
and 75. And what are those settlements for?
One was a car accident. And then one was basically like a business loan / business investment. So we've got something legal that just says that they still owe me money, even if it doesn't all work out. So
You lent money to someone. Is that right? Okay. Okay, so you're waiting for kind of big bucks to come.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're saying that those are going to most likely get paid out to you over the next year. Okay. How long ago did you make the loan to those people?
I'm gonna say like a year and a half, almost 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay. And is their business working out?
Yes and no. I think they're coming out of like a rough spell.
They're coming out of a rough spot, you said. Uh-huh. Okay. And you said you made it 2 years ago was when you made the loan, like in 2024?
Yep.
Okay. Like in April?
I'd have to look.
Okay. It's not too important. It's just that there was the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus. Right. So that makes me think about that big business loan that then well, there's things happening for the next several years. Okay. Okay. And how freely do you feel like spending? Is it easy for you? Are you kind of tight with your money? What is your relationship to money?
It depends on what it is, on what I'm spending money on.
Okay.
So let's see. Like I'll spend money on good quality food. I've actually got a chef right now in Saigon. So I'll spend on like wellness, like acupuncture, chiropractic care. But I don't spend on like fast fashion. I don't have any like recurring subscriptions, like any type of streaming service.
When you say you will not buy fast fashion, does that mean you buy like custom pieces, or you don't buy
So they'll
very
be
often?
like, I also don't buy very often, but I'll check the tags for like 100% cotton, linen. Since being here in Vietnam, they do a lot of tailoring. So you can create custom pieces.
But have you explored that or not yet?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Got it. So you like things that are of good quality and reputable source. Does that mean you also like to buy organic or buy fresh from the farmers markets
I'll buy fresh. Yes. And so I'm the
or
person that like
seasonal?
will read the ingredients. Something
What
local.
something local? Okay. So those are the things that are okay. Okay. Yeah, that is making me think very much, of course, about your Moon Jupiter conjunction in Taurus, right? That you love things of high quality, especially when it's the clothing, you check the tags to make sure they're cotton or linen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you like to have nice food, good food, Moon Jupiter Taurus. And even now
Yeah.
you're willing to spend, as much as it takes to have a private chef or just a chef in Saigon. Okay, so I see how what's important for you is that you're pretty cozy and you'll spend money for that to be comfortable and to feel good.
Yeah.
Okay. And also for the wellness, again, Moon, Jupiter, Taurus, acupuncture, probably massage, right? Taurus, something very physical.
Yes.
Okay. And that also makes me think about like herbs or plants, like spending on nice or like nice decorations or something.
So yes. But since I don't have my own space, I haven't. But when I did have my own apartment, everybody was talking about how they're good pieces, but they're also really functional, like multi-use
Mm,
things.
yes. Uh-huh. Okay, that also makes me think maybe like having a big piece of art.
I am in search of one.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So my one of my really big dream goals though is to have a uh one of like the biggest walls in my home to have it to have the world painted on there and then
Okay.
have physical pictures placed based on where I've been.
Oh my God. Okay. So, do you see that straight away with your Moon Jupiter conjunction, the ninth house Taurus? Or do you want me to break it
Like
down for you?
you can break it down. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Um, okay, the moon is like your apartment or your house. Yeah. Jupiter is something big, like so the whole wall being filled. Yeah. And what would you fill the wall with? Well, you would paint the world and all the places that you've been. There's the ninth house, right? And the fact that this is all very physical, it's the wall, it's the pictures, it's Taurus.
Very
Right. There's
grounded.
the moon, Jupiter, Taurus, ninth house, the world painted on the wall at home with all the pictures of the places you've been. That's the big project you want to complete. Right? It's an internal project. That's not something you show to everyone unless they come over. It's something just
Yeah.
for you, just for your most personal. That's the moon. Right. So there's moon, Jupiter, Taurus, ninth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense.
Very good. Yeah. Okay, that's your dream goal. What keeps you from being there? It's actually having an apartment where you can do that.
The
Or
space where I like want to stay.
okay. Mm-hmm. And I guess are you looking for such a place? Are you looking to also spend quite a bit? Like like actually buy a property, have an asset?
Yes.
Okay. That's making me feel like maybe you want some land where you would grow your own stuff.
So, um, like really wild dream would be to actually create my own hotel space. And from the ground up, like have filtered water that is safe from the tap. Um, and then like even from like the air filtration systems, like HEPA filters, and then sustainable like cloth fabrics. Um, and yeah, just basically living off the ground, the land, but having locals that like take care of the grounds and the plants and everything that we plant. Yeah, just a very circular desire. And it wouldn't be a big one. It'd be like, I don't know, like 5 to 10 villas or suites or something.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So that's actually the project that you're working on now, right? At least internally.
Mm,
Okay, perfect.
internally.
Okay, there's again Moon, Jupiter, Taurus, right? Because you want to have the sustainable cloth and fabrics, and you want to have your own hotel space and live from the ground and build it up from the ground up also, right? So it's all very physical. It's all very Taurus, what you're suggesting. And again, I have to bring up the sun that is in Cancer in your 11th house. Because think about if you have a hotel for people and there's constantly new people coming and you're housing them, right? And there's Jupiter that is conjunct your sun right now. Right. So that makes me think about how right now you're developing this hotel idea. This is just the beginning of it. This is the seeding.
Makes
Does
sense.
that make okay, it makes sense. Very good. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Mm-hmm. And are you planning on like using the settlement money also towards that idea?
Uh, indirectly. So it'd be put into like an investment fund.
Mm-hmm. So that tells me you're pretty smart with money. You know how to move money around. You know how to get good deals.
Yeah.
Okay. Like you're very money oriented, would you say?
Yes.
Okay. I want to talk more about that, but immediately Moon, Jupiter, ninth house Taurus. Right? Because ninth house is about somebody's intelligence, something they're very good at. Right? And the moon in Taurus is about security, one of them being financial security. Okay, can you say more about that?
Yeah. So
Hello?
yeah. So there are there's like certain like deals that you can have depending on when you travel. So if you travel in the off season, like things are just less expensive. And then if you meet a local, most of them will know the local person to do whatever you want to do. So I took a trip to Malta with a girlfriend, and we rented like a boat for about 4-5 hours. I think it came out to like $200 for us, so it's like $100 each.
Mm-hmm. And so?
So to me, like 4 to 5 hours, like I feel like it's a really good value for my money.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Because it's 4 to 5 hours of like exploring on a boat.
Privately, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, when you talk about certain deals, depending on when you travel, right, and that you're aware of those deals, like that's something I guess you could talk to anyone about very naturally.
Oh
So
yeah.
there I feel your moon Jupiter in the ninth house again, right? Because in this case, your savviness is about travel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else would you say? Can you just talk to us a bit more? Just talk freely about you and money and how you spend and the things you think about when you're spending and the things you're likely to buy and the things you're unlikely to buy. How do you make those decisions for yourself day by day?
I let's see.
And also, what stops you? Which when do you feel like, oh no, I don't have enough? Do you have such feelings?
Okay, so me hiring the chef, I was first looking for like a meal plan service. So I'm on Facebook, like trying to find what's normal for like Saigon, what is available to me. And then ended up finding, I just like reached out to random people on Facebook based on their comments on like replies and posts. So the person that I hired right now, she was the one that got back to me the quickest. But also it's tailored. Tailored and then very unique to me. So she does everything from the start of like meal prepping, groceries. She comes over, cooks everything, plates everything, cleans up my kitchen, takes the trash out, and leaves. And I hired her because there would be moments where I'm trying to look for food and I can't decide where to eat, if it's how reputable it is, the type of food, what I'm in the mood for. So by the time I'm deciding like, oh, maybe I should get something, or it's too late to eat, I'm like not eating. Or I just get something that's really crappy and then I regret my decision just for the sake of eating.
Okay. So that's why well, I'm hearing the moon Jupiter Taurus again because it's like looking at all the options for food and the different kinds and the different cultures kind of foods, and then you don't end up getting anything. And I also see the moon Jupiter Taurus from the standpoint of like having a chef that actually tailors everything to you and makes you something delicious every day, so you're always enjoying amazing meals. All right, so I see the moon Jupiter on both ends. But still, that doesn't describe to me. So when you're making that financial decision to invest in her, what else is happening for you? So I hear part of it is like that's important for you because of the way that you are. She's removing, but Is it easy for you to spend that money?
Okay, so the price that I pay her would take me too much time. So since I'm like in a different country, then I have to like read all these ingredients, but then I have to like translate them to figure out what grocery store I'm going to go to, what I want to cook, what is actually available. From like a time standpoint of the time and energy that it would take me to do any of and all of that, she solves it in my day for like 4 hours. I don't know how long it takes her, but like in about 4 hours, I've got maybe like 8 meals and I don't have to think about it.
And she comes and she goes. Yeah, that makes me think about the Venus and Gemini that is close to your moon and Jupiter. That she's there briefly and then she's gone. She comes back and right. So that's the Gemini, like all the air, the movement. Also the fact that you hired her in part because she was the first one to get back to you. Right. That makes me think about Venus and Gemini in the sense of the woman that got back to you very quickly. And so now I see those three working together. Actually, when it's about the chef. Okay, so we have a bit about the chef. What about your attitude towards money in general? How do you feel about finances and stuff?
I would have to say I don't have let me how do I describe it? So because I've been in accounting for like the last 10 years, I have a degree in it. And I've been in accounting in different types of industries. And then also had a stint of accounting in entertainment and then financial management. So I've been around like really big numbers. So I know some people are like shy about like salaries or they feel a certain type of way. I don't feel shy about them. They're more of just like I guard numbers based on like I'm not really sure who you are. Not that I don't want to share. Does that make sense?
Wait, you said you regard numbers based on who you are. I didn't get that.
So if we're talking about numbers, I see them as like informational purposes. So the only time that I would be like protective over numbers is who is receiving the information and for what purpose.
Okay. That sounds very like that comes from like a business mindset. Like you have to be careful who you share that data with.
Yeah.
Okay, Well, okay, so for you being around big numbers, Moon, Jupiter, Taurus, ninth house. Right, also because you're doing the big numbers from the standpoint of accounting, where accounting is like a mental service in a very complex one. There's the ninth house for me, Moon, Jupiter, Taurus, ninth house. Your work as an accountant. And also the Venus is on your midheaven in Gemini, right? So you're always tabulating value, how much somebody spent, how much somebody earned. Right. So now I see these three, and specifically that you worked with big numbers. Okay. So when I hear you say that, because I'm asking about your personal relationship to money, are you telling me that because you've been around big numbers, like money for you is something different now, and you just don't see it as kind of like, ugh?
Money is just like a number. But for me, it's figuring out like where do I actually want the numbers to be now.
Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah. So I was making a joke with a girlfriend of mine, like probably a couple months ago. And I basically told her, like, you and I would actually be millionaires if we didn't travel so much.
Okay.
Like at this point.
Uh-huh. So all that tells me is that you spend a lot of money on travel, but it doesn't tell me much about where do you want the numbers to be now.
Where do I want them to be now is I think that's where I'm figuring it out of how much I want it to be towards travel and experiences, and then how much I need them to be for future use. So basically, I'm having meetings with numbers at the moment and trying to decide what I want them to do for me.
And how do you do that? Is it like, do you sit in front of a computer screen or in front of like a notebook and you write out your expenses and you're seeing where the money is and you're deciding, oh, I would like to do less of that? Like, are you budgeting actively? What does that actually
So I
look
have a
like?
budget. Yeah, so I have a budget. Right now, ChatGPT does it for me. So I'll notate expenses and then just plug it in and tell them this is what I spent from this date to this date. But I have, okay, so this is maybe helpful or not, but I have different bank accounts with
Okay.
different banks.
Okay.
So right now I've got a credit union. I've got a Charles Schwab account because they do have an investment brokerage account, and then they have a checking account, and the checking account comes with an ATM, and there are no fees on the ATM. So when I travel, that's where I pull out cash. And then I have Zelle on all of these different accounts to transfer money into them. Then I have a credit union that has basically like a 5% like savings account.
I see. So, but is that it? Is it just the Charles Schwab account and the credit union? Just the two?
And then I've got like the business account. Business banking.
So the way I understand it is that your credit union account, you park some money there for the 5% in the savings.
For the emergency fund, yeah.
Okay, so that's your emergency fund. Okay. The Charles Schwab account has no fees on the ATM withdrawal, so that's the one you use to withdraw cards, besides actually doing the investment. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you have your...
But then there's also Fidelity, and they don't charge you for foreign investments.
Okay, so then you use Fidelity for foreign investments. Is that right?
Yes.
And then you have your business account, and I guess that's where you get money from for your work.
From clients, yeah.
Okay, and then you shuffle money around depending on your goals, right? So you feel like maybe you need more crisis money, so you send some to the credit union. Do I understand correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, and sometimes if you need more cash, so you're going to move money from one bank account to the Charles Schwab, something like that.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, got it. That makes me think about a couple things. First of all, the moon Jupiter's in the background of everything. We already got that part, didn't we? I feel the Mercury Saturn opposition pretty much, because Mercury is about also your business dealings, right? So all of your checking accounts, right? Moving money between accounts, that's Mercury, because Mercury lubricates, Mercury moves things. And in your case, right, there's the opposition with Saturn in the fourth Sag because you're traveling a lot. And so your business dealings, right, your bank stuff always takes into consideration that there's the foreign accounts, right? There's the foreign investments, there's the ATM withdrawal that has no fees. So you kind of restrict yourself and use these different tools based on what they can offer you. But it's not like you're using just one bank and it's straightforward. There's a little bit of play happening there, right? So there I see the Mercury-Saturn opposition again, especially with the fourth house, because the limiting factor in your case is that you're not in the US, you're traveling abroad. Does all that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's a little, doubt there. Or?
Not at the. They're limited in the sense that I can't go into a bank and like handle things, right? But it's not limited because at the moment the US dollar is still the exchange rate, like that. So in the Philippines, I can't just exchange Filipino pesos into Vietnamese dollar. The dollar, the euro, the pound, those are still the exchange currencies that the world functions on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so do you sometimes have to do a little bit of like dancing around to figure out all the currencies and where you're going to get this currency from and the exchange rate and
not necessarily. So like I've learned from traveling, if you were to do like ATMs, HSBC, because they're an international bank, they will give you the better conversion rate because they actually have they'll have international funds coming through. HSBC, Santander, Barclays from like London. So yeah, bigger banks.
Okay, so what I also hear is that you know about the different, most people don't know about all those different banks and their benefits, but you do. Well, of course, you're in the industry, so that's also different. Okay, the fact that you are kind of like just the language you're using now, I again feel your moon Jupiter in the ninth house Taurus, that you understand like asset classes and banks and what they offer and what are their different benefits, what are their different services. And that together maybe with Venus in Gemini in the 10th house. The reason being that you're exchanging different currencies, right? So you're thinking about pounds, dollars, euros, pesos. I don't know the other currencies that are in Southeast Asia. And that trade between having different bills is Venus and Gemini. All right, so these three again together.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about money in general?
I would say there's probably been like an up and down relationship with money. There was probably like a couple of years ago where it was like, oh man, I lent too many people money at the same time, basically, that didn't pay me back. So I don't want to say that there's like I think there's just decisions that I could have weighted differently.
Would you say that was in like 2024? Around 2024 that you gave that money?
2024. Yeah.
Okay. So look what was happening in 23, 24. Transiting Saturn in your 7th house at 14 degrees is exactly square your Venus at 14 degrees. Yeah, so think about it. You're lending too much money to too many people all at once. And then there is that hard part, not only for you financially, but I guess also in the relationships, there's tension at that time.
One of them, yeah.
Okay. Does that make sense when you see it like this? That at that time Saturn was exactly square your Venus from the seventh, from your seventh house cusp?
Yeah.
Okay. So there you can see. So at that time, did you feel like very financially pressed? Like you don't have enough and you're scrambling?
Yes. It definitely felt like where can I recoup?
Wait, can you repeat that? Where?
It definitely, yeah, like where could I recoup it and how?
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so at that time you were kind of, can you say just a couple more sentences about that period and money and how you were feeling?
Um, I kept looking at the account, like the bank account, and in a very, what's the word? In a very restrictive way.
Can you give some examples?
Like, yes. So not that I started playing around with dates, like dates and timing are always really important. But they started seeming like if I missed them, then I like lost money, basically. Yeah, even to the extent of like, kind of like that movie Catch Me If You Can, and there's like a certain duration of time that it takes to like clear an amount. Starting to play with money that way of like how much leeway time do I get to like pay something before it actually leaves the account, and then until like a deposit comes in.
Uh-huh. So you were very fixated on the bank account and like, uh-huh. Okay, so when you go into that story and you're remembering, do you feel that Saturn square to Venus? That was that period you were in the middle of.
Yeah, because
Right.
it was really restrictive.
Okay. And now you don't feel that anymore. Or?
Yeah, I don't feel restrictive. It's more of like there are too many options, and which ones do I choose?
In terms of where to park your money.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. Just one more question. Did that situation change for you at all? Like in 2025? End of 24, 25? Early 25?
You mean the money thing or what?
Yeah, the money thing.
Nothing changed per se, just that my mindset was like, the money will come and I just don't know when.
Okay. Which is what you're waiting for now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Let's pause here for today. And well, for me that was very informative. And yeah, do you have a couple comments? I want just to hear from you, and then I'm going to stop the recording and we're going to chat a bit. But just anything else you want to say on the record?
Yeah, I think like it's just been like it's money is a relationship where at first it was like other people having it and managing it for them, and coming into, so I just actually started this business like last year. So
Mhm.
having more resources is having personal resources is different than managing other people's resources.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're at the beginning, kind of at the beginning of this new journey. So now I understand why you only make 100,000 last year, right? Because it's your first year in business. Okay,
Yeah.
I get it. Mm-hmm. Okay. The other thing I want to point out too is that Uranus was conjunct your moon Jupiter. That's over the past 2 years. So that makes me think about all of the changes that have happened in your financial world and that you moved from managing money for other people to actually managing money for yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
also that you had those kind of disturbances lending out a lot of money that was very uncomfortable for you for a period, but then improved. Yeah, because Uranus is leaving Taurus now. So he's leaving your moon Jupiter. Yeah. Okay, good. I'm just gonna stop recording now and we'll just talk for a couple more minutes. So to everyone that's watching, I hope that was very informative for you. For sure it was. And we'll see you in the next one. Okay.